Have you ever carried a stone in your heart for so long that its crushing weight simply became a part of who you are? If you are standing in the shadow of an old betrayal, if your soul feels tired from holding on to a grudge that no one else can see, then this space and this story is for you. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and let us step out of the noisy currents of life. Let us walk into a quiet room where time itself might just hold the cure for a wounded heart.
The gears of forgiveness.
In the rain-washed cobblestone town of Oakhaven, the air always smelled faintly of pine and wood smoke. At the end of a narrow alley stood a dimly lit shop, its windows fogged with age. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of brass polish, old oil, and dust motes dancing in the pale shafts of sunlight. This was the domain of Elias Thorne, a master watchmaker. For 30 years, the rhythmic, relentless ticking of hundreds of clocks was his only company. Elias was a man who lived entirely within the mechanical perfection of gears and springs, because human hearts, he had learned, were horribly flawed. 30 years ago, Silas, his closest friend and trusted apprentice, had vanished into the night, taking with him Elias's greatest invention. Silas gained fame, fortune, and the title of a genius. Elias was left with nothing but shadows, allowing a bitter, cold anger to calcify around his soul. One damp autumn afternoon, the little brass bell above the shop door chimed, slicing through the symphony of ticking clocks. A young man stood in the doorway, shaking the rain from his coat. In his trembling hands, he held an object wrapped in heavy velvet. "Mr. Thorne," the young man's voice was barely a whisper, hesitant and fragile. Elias didn't look up from his workbench. He carefully adjusted his magnifying loupe. "The shop is closed for new commissions," he rasped, his voice dry as autumn leaves. "Read the sign on the door." I am not here for a commission, sir," the boy replied, taking a hesitant step forward. Rainwater dripped from his dark hair onto the dusty floorboards. "I brought something back." Slowly, the young man pulled back the heavy velvet, revealing a breathtaking, intricate device of gold and silver gears. It was the astrarium, Elias's masterpiece, the very soul he had poured into metal 30 years ago. Elias's breath hitched. The tweezers slipped from his fingers, clattering loudly against the wooden desk. The blood roared in his ears, drowning out the ticking clocks. He stood up slowly, his eyes locked on the golden machine.
Where did you get that? Elias's voice was dangerously low, a storm brewing just beneath the surface. The boy swallowed hard, his eyes dropping to the floor. "My name is Julian Vance. Silas was my father." The name struck Elias like a physical blow. The air in the room suddenly felt suffocatingly thin. "Was?" "He passed away 3 weeks ago," Julian said, his voice cracking. "On his deathbed, he told me everything. He confessed to what he did to you. He begged me to bring this back to its rightful creator. He said he couldn't take the weight of this theft to his grave." "Weight?" Elias let out a dry, hollow laugh that didn't reach his eyes. His hands gripped the edge of the workbench until his knuckles turned white. "He lived like a king on stolen genius for 30 years, and you come into my shop to speak to me of his weight?" Julian flinched, but he gently placed the heavy device onto the edge of the counter. "I know words cannot fix what he broke, Mr. Thorne, but he wanted you to have it back." A storm of rage, dormant for 3 decades, flared in Elias's chest. He wanted to scream, to hurl the masterpiece against the brick wall, to cast the boy out into the freezing rain. But then, beneath the fury, the quiet instinct of the craftsman stirred. He looked at the astrarium. It was entirely still. Its complex heartbeat had stopped. Elias could not bear to look at a broken mechanism without longing to heal it. With a rigid jaw, Elias turned his back to the boy. "Leave the machine," he coldly ordered, "and get out, before I make you pay for the sins of a ghost." Yet Julian returned the next morning. He didn't ask to speak. He simply picked up a broom and began sweeping the dusty floorboards. Day after day, as Elias sat hunched under the warm yellow glow of his magnifying lamp, meticulously taking the astrarium apart piece by piece, Julian silently cleaned the shop, polished the glass cases, and stoked the fire. Elias treated him like a ghost, refusing to acknowledge his presence. Then came the night the storm finally broke. The shop was dead quiet, save for the rain lashing against the window panes. Elias had reached the very core of the astrarium, searching for the flaw that had kept it paralyzed for a decade. With a pair of fine tweezers, he removed the mainspring barrel. There, jammed tightly between two microscopic brass teeth, was a tiny folded piece of parchment. Elias carefully extracted it. His calloused, grease-stained fingers slowly unfolded the brittle paper. It was a note, written in Silas's frantic, erratic handwriting. "I took your creation, my friend," the ink read, faded but undeniable. "But I have quickly learned that I could never steal your genius. I have worn a crown of gold, but it has felt like a crown of thorns. Every tick of this clock has been a hammer against my conscience. I am a prisoner of my own theft. I have had everything, Elias, and I have had no peace." Elias sat frozen. The magnifying glass slipped from his eye. The faint glow of the oil lamp cast long, trembling shadows across the room. He read the words again, and then a third time, and in that silent, dimly lit room, something profound began to fracture within him.
He closed his eyes, and a single, heavy tear traced a path down his weathered cheek. For 30 years, he had pictured Silas living a life of radiant joy, mocking him from afar. He had fed his anger every single day, believing it was his only shield. But the truth laid bare before him was devastatingly simple. Silas had spent 30 years locked in a dark, suffocating prison of guilt. And Elias? Elias had spent those exact same 30 years locked in a bitter, lonely prison of anger. Two men bound by the same tragic moment, both entirely missing out on the beauty of the life passing them by. The anger that had defined Elias for so long suddenly felt like rust flaking off an old gear. It was useless. It was exhausting. He looked toward the corner of the shop, where Julian had fallen asleep in a chair, a damp rag still in his hand, looking so much like the young friend Elias had once loved. "Julian?" Elias's voice was hoarse, breaking the silence of the night. The boy woke with a start, eyes wide with apprehension. Elias gestured toward the workbench, pulling up a second wooden stool. "Come here," Elias said softly, the harshness gone from his tone. "The escapement wheel is misaligned. Let me show you how to set it right." They worked together through the night, the old master and the son of his betrayer, their hands moving in quiet harmony. As the first pale rays of dawn crept through the window, Elias turned the final key. A soft, rhythmic clicking filled the room. The astrarium was breathing again. Life is often much like the gears of a clock. When we hold on to resentment, we are jamming a piece of foreign matter into the delicate machinery of our own souls. We believe that our anger is punishing the one who hurt us. We think that by holding on to the pain, we are protecting ourselves from being broken again. But as the ancient wisdom reminds us, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The truth is, forgiveness is not a gift you give to the person who wronged you. It is the key that unlocks your own prison door. We cannot change the storms that have battered us, nor can we undo the betrayals that have left us scarred, but we always have the choice of what we do in the aftermath. Will we let the rust consume us, or will we gently brush it away, oil the gears, and allow our hearts to tick once more? The lotus flower does not reject the mud, it uses the mud to bloom into something breathtakingly pure. Your pain, your betrayal, your deepest wounds, they are merely the soil from which your deepest compassion and understanding can grow. As you step back into the rhythm of your own life today, I hope you find the courage to put down the heavy stones you have been carrying. I hope you realize that the skies are always blue above the clouds, waiting for you to look up. To forgive is to set a prisoner free and discover that the prisoner was you. What is a burden you feel ready to let go of today? Take a moment to reflect, and if you feel comfortable, leave a piece of your story in the comments below. If this story brought a moment of peace to your soul, please share it with someone who might need it and subscribe to the channel so we can continue to walk this beautiful, healing journey together. May your heart be light and your days be filled with true peace.